So this is I got one of the green line models open. Um, so this railing will create, around corners, up slopes, anywhere you put it, input points. So for example, if we just take it and go from up and around the corner here, see, a lot of these railings seem to be like this kind of style or locations and that. So it'll just put it in there. And the user interface is, pretty straightforward. These caps get created slightly elliptical. All these connections get put in with the weld stud and nut and washer and pickets and so forth. The let's see, you can see in here, galvanizing holes also get put in. Up in the top, underneath every post, the base plate, and then the top rail centered on each post. The expansion joiner sleeves, the splices for the top rail, according to the design drawings, and that's the way it's working right now, is maximum two posts and then a splice. So you can't have more than 2 posts without having a splice. So the maximum length of splice is not currently working. And the splice location from post is a default value. I can't remember what it is, but we could take a look at that. But otherwise, all the dimensions work pretty much the same. If you have like these in the distance list, the maximum it uses this first value, which would be 6 feet, and the first post and last post. Or if you put exact, it'll put in at 6 feet, and then so many spaces at 4 feet, like a lot of our plugins, and it won't put any past the end. So maximum length of the top rail, I don't know if that's working in this current version or not. Well, if it's maximum 2 posts, it'll be shorter than 20 feet anyway. So I'm not sure if I implemented that. Location of the first post from a corner, then which side the input lines you want to be on, either the right side or the left side of the input points. The materials tab, like all our plugins, you can change all the materials to what you need them to be. All the parts, the connections. This one will just put just a hole, but you can specify the size of the hole in here. All the welds, all the connection parts are going to be the same. The radius of the top, corners, and so forth. And then the base plates are on here. This is intermediate post base, so all the posts that are between corners would use this setting, intermediate post base, and then the polymer shim under the base plate dimensions are set here, and the anchor bolts and so forth. But also the end post, since the engineer designed the end post to be different to keep this, the start point to the end, or the corners from going around corners and so forth. We have the first post settings on the left, and you can set it to be, use the intermediate post base settings, or use it in the first post in each segment. And we've been doing a lot of railing plugins lately, and we kind of defined some terminology. A railing would be a complete rail, all the way around, however many input points you have. A segment is a section of rail between corners. So this would be one segment here. This would be another segment, this long one here. So this rail would have 3 segments, this top short one, this long one with a slope in it, and then the bottom that goes the other direction. And then So, and this would be the first post in each segment, which is how we have it set up here. So the first post here, the first post in this segment, first post in this segment. And then also like we have a separate setting for the last post. So it could be the last post in each segment, which we have set in here. But if you set these to the first post of the first segment only, then it would only create the start one. This one would use the intermediate one. This one would use the intermediate one. Same with the last one. You could set it to be the last post only. So that'd be these settings would be for the first post in the whole rail and the last post in the whole rail. And then these would be for at each corner. So that's kind of how that works. So, and then of course, the reason John asked me to create this was so that, you know, if there was field dimensions, you know, you could easily come in and adjust, you know, up or down. And then you get consistency, and all the connection plates are consistent. You know, the bolts, everything's consistent. They will combine together numbering wise, same with the base plates and stuff. So that's kind of the reasoning behind that and how that works. So
I got a question.
Yeah.
What about the railing in between, like on your corners there, where there's a giant gap between posts and posts? Are we not required to have anything in there? I know there's a top rail, but like as far as
That's the way the contract drawings show those.
Yeah, this particular rail is it's. You're right. Some kid's going to fall through there, but they have not told us anything yet.
Yeah.
Although it's pretty high, though, isn't it, Eric? I mean, I don't know what code is, but you've got the cement rail coming up pretty high.
Right.
Yeah, and you can adjust or this. Yeah, this is height wise is 1'6", so they must be able to get away with it. I don't know what the plugin does is it takes a look at this, you know, minimum or maximum from the center of the next segment to the center of the post, going around the corner, and then it also looks at. So this is, in this case, it'd be a little bit more than 7 inches. Because let's see, if we have 7 inches from the corner to the post, it's like 8 inches. So it also takes a look at, you know, where that last input point was, or where the transition from sloping to level is. It doesn't realize there's 2 different pieces of concrete, but it just says that it starts, the concrete slopes from here and it's level from here. We can't put a base plate over that break, so it moves it out enough to miss that break.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And Eric is like, can you do a view just to show everybody that the posts are now plumb?
Oh yeah.
Along the slope, because that's kind of an important part. Because Sarah, what I was thinking of is New Jersey rail, where this would work really well, something like this.
Okay.
You know, because with all the parts and components of a New Jersey rail, but they're always the same, pretty much. Just, you know, you're adding rail members.
Yeah.
This is where it would come in handy, especially when you start to get into pitched rail.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you know, also it gives you, like I said, like Eric, can you change the pitch in this view so you can see it? Like, can you pull that one down like 3 inches?
Yeah.
Then watch it all index itself. So yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the parts update. These should stay the same size. The bolt in the same location on each of them, so the plates all always end up the same, regardless of the pitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So So this green line railing, I get that this is made for a specific job that we have.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we're using it on this New Jersey rail or whatever possible in the future.
Yeah, that would be a development thing, because this green line rail, you got to remember, we've probably got 5 miles of it, to do.
Right.
And so we just developed it just for this project.
Gotcha.
But, the way I understand it, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but we can just take this intelligence and use it on like a New Jersey rail or a Colorado rail or whatever,
Yes.
bridge rail. Each of these rails are pretty specific to the project.
Yeah.
And I know this one, since we have the lineal footage to justify developing an app, that's why we did it.
Yeah. I don't remember how many hours ahead in this, John. Is it like 120 or so, or?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. So 120 hours developing the plugin, and we're hoping it'll save a lot more than that on drafting and modeling time. So.
I think it will.
Oh yeah.
Well, Jason, you freehand modeled that first rail on this. I mean, you start to get into it and you start to put all those pieces in those nuts and those washers and those weld studs, and there's just it's so many to keep track of.
And then once they come back and, like you say, change the slope of that concrete wall, then you're going to be in there manually adjusting every single thing. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got a quick question, Eric, on those plate connections that are on the post. It seems like those were originally angles, and then I changed them when I modeled it into plates because of the angle that they were on.
Yeah.
What if they come back now and say, okay, this will work, but we want these as bent plates or something?
Yeah, that would it would take a little bit of updating on my part, but not real much.
Yeah, and that's one reason why we waited for the engineering calcs to be done. So like if Amtech decides they want to switch that back to angle or bent plate, it's going to be a little harder for them, because then they got to pay their engineer to re-engineer that connection.
Yep.
So we've purposely waited until we got a pretty firm idea of what they want.
Yeah. Well, I know you can't get like a flat layout or whatever, but sometimes when they change something I have modeled in with the beam part, I'll use like the CCL that's in there for a bent plate.
Okay. Yeah, the one let's see, these are modeled in from going this direction right now.
Okay. Never mind then.
But yeah, but it wouldn't take much, to get it going the other way. And then the other thing is the code and the plugin can be updated to a new version, and it would update all the older versions if we had to do that. So if you had a bunch of them modeled in with this plate, and then they went with an angle or a bent plate, I can make an update in the plugin in a few hours and get you a new version, and then you just do a modify in all of them. So
Yeah.
Eric, can you select assemblies in here? Because I want to see what this thing does for assemblies.
I was going to ask that same thing. Yep.
Yeah. So right now it's this whole long post is an assembly, and each of these panels is an assembly. But all that assembly, you guys can control it when you model it based on these welds. So for example, on this corner here, this is a shot. We can say this one we want a field weld, and this one we want a shop weld, and then or if we want them both field weld, then that corner gets chipped loose. Same thing on a splice. So on the left side, we can make this a shop, and on the right side, we can make this a field. And then if we modify that, takes a little while to run. It's creating so many parts. But so then if we go in and look at the assemblies, then we have separate assembly for each top rail and the posts that are associated with that top rail.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you control assemblies by the welds.
Nice. Yeah, this
and
is
bol-
gonna be
and
slick.
bolts and or bolts, you know, if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be slick. Because and Devin and Jason, I mean, just because being able to change this, like right now, I've kind of got an agreement with Lunda that they're going to provide us with field measurements as long as I can get them drawings like within a week. You know, well that I can only do with an application like this.
Yeah.
You know. But then we're not forced to redrawing it once or twice or whatever.
Right. Because of field measuring.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's
And like
gonna
I
be
said, there's a lot of them. So good. It's awesome, Eric.